Hey everyone, welcome back to Heart to Horizon. Tonight we're diving into one of my favorite topics. Those late night thoughts that pop up when you're lying in bed, the room is quiet, and all of a sudden your brain goes, oh, perfect time to think about everything ever. You know what I mean? It's kind of like getting caught in a cozy thought tornado. One minute you're wondering if you locked the door, and the next, you're questioning life choices, replaying every embarrassing moment, and maybe even pondering the meaning of life. Some of these thoughts are light and funny, and others might get a bit deeper, but hey, that's the beauty of midnight, right? It's that cozy space where your mind just wanders and wonders. So grab a warm drink, get comfy, and let's keep each other company through some late night musings. Alright, so I'll start with one that always pops up out of nowhere. You know those tiny random memories that just stick with you for no reason? I have one from when I was probably 7 or 8, and I was convinced I could do this magic trick I'd seen on TV where you throw a sheet over yourself and disappear. So naturally, I tried it at home in the living room, in front of my mom and her friend, and really thought it worked. I threw the sheet over me, stood completely still, and thought, wow, I bet they can't see me at all right now. But the best part was, I even tried to sneak around invisible. Like, they could clearly see my feet shuffling across the floor. Looking back, I have no idea why that memory sticks, but something about being absolutely certain I'd disappeared still makes me laugh. Maybe we all have those little moments where we think we're pulling off something epic, but, in reality, we're just making our parents laugh in the best way. But really, why do these tiny random memories stick with us? They don't seem important in the grand scheme of things, but maybe they're like little puzzle pieces of who we are. Or maybe it's just my brain storing totally unnecessary information for its own amusement. Anyone else have little moments like that they can't forget? Or is it just me? Maybe it's one of those universal human experiences, to carry around a collection of small, funny moments that make up this big thing we call life. I mean, sometimes these tiny memories feel like bookmarks in my mind, like a little reminder of who I was at that exact moment. Okay. Here's one for you, the classic small existential crisis we all face. Why do I always remember the embarrassing things? Like, why, at 2 a.m., does my brain decide, hey, remember that one weird thing you said to a classmate 10 years ago? And there's always that sinking feeling like, did they notice? Were they secretly judging me? The funny thing is, nobody else probably even remembers these things. But that doesn't stop my brain from replaying these cringeworthy moments like it's some kind of late-night entertainment. Another one that gets me, why do the most random phrases start to sound weird if you say them over and over? Like, I'll be lying in bed staring at the ceiling repeating a word like spoon and all of a sudden it doesn't sound like a real word anymore. Am I the only one who does this? It's like I accidentally tap into a glitch in my brain's language processing or something. And there's this odd thought that maybe, just maybe, we're all carrying around these tiny, harmless crises, just little quirks that pop up when it's quiet. I mean, who else but our own minds could make us doubt whether spoon sounds real? So here's a classic late-night special, the what-if daydream. Have you ever let yourself go down the rabbit hole of imagining all the lives you could have lived? It's one of those magical thoughts that feels so real, even though it's just a fantasy. Like, I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I'd actually stuck with those piano lessons my parents made me take. Would I be on a stage somewhere, or maybe just struggling to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Then of course, there are the bigger what-ifs. What if I'd moved to another city? What if I'd pursued that childhood dream of being a marine biologist? I mean, as a kid, I was convinced I'd be out in the ocean, studying dolphins and swimming with sea turtles. Instead, I'm here, podcasting, which is actually way cooler if you ask me. But seriously, those what-ifs can feel so real. And sometimes they highlight what we actually want out of life. Like, sure, it's fun to imagine becoming a dolphin expert, but when I really think about it, I'm more drawn to ideas that let me connect with people, share stories, and inspire in my own way. So maybe those what-ifs just help us understand what's important to us now, even if they keep us up sometimes. What's your what-if daydream? Now here's a question that hits different at night. What does it all mean? Am I doing things right? These are the kinds of thoughts that drift in as everything gets quiet, and you're left with just you. And it's like, am I on the right path? Am I living in a way that feels true to me? But then, after I go down the rabbit hole of big questions, I remember that maybe it's just about the little things, like those moments we talked about earlier. It's about the laughter and tiny memories, the silly thoughts, even those what-ifs that help us feel alive and a little more connected to ourselves. I think, in the end, that's what gives life meaning, the quiet moments where we're just there, fully present with ourselves, our quirks, and our dreams. And maybe that's why I love these late-night thoughts. They let me see all these little pieces of life that make up something big. It's a reminder that it's okay not to have all the answers, to just be here, now, and enjoy the ride. Well, that's it for tonight's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and diving into all these late-night thoughts. Isn't it funny how our minds bring us on these wild little journeys? One minute, we're laughing about childhood memories and what-if daydreams, and the next, we're reflecting on the meaning of life. But that's what makes these late-night thoughts so special. It's like our minds get this rare, quiet moment to wander, explore, and even get a little silly. Sometimes I think these thoughts are our way of reminding ourselves that it's okay to be curious, to wonder about the what-ifs, and replay those tiny memories, even if they don't seem all that important. Maybe they're just little reminders of who we are, and sometimes they reveal something meaningful in their own quiet way. So wherever you are, whether you're getting ready to drift off to sleep, relaxing with a cup of tea, or maybe even going for a late-night walk, I hope this episode has made you feel a little less alone with your own thoughts. There's something comforting about knowing we all get swept up in these random midnight musings, right? And who knows, maybe the next time you're lying awake, you'll smile a little when one of those silly or meaningful thoughts pops up, and you'll remember that you're not the only one on this little thought journey. Life is full of these funny, wonderful, tiny moments that make up the big picture, and honestly, that's something worth celebrating. Thank you for joining me on this cozy adventure tonight. If you have your own late-night musings or stories to share, drop a comment. I'd love to hear them. Here's to the endless curiosity that keeps us all up at night, and to making friends with those late-night thoughts. Until next time, sweet dreams, and remember to let yourself just be. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.